has been granted.
It has been granted. We also see Zach in that top lane, or will it be the mid lane, Alex Ich?
I can't answer that question.
No.
Because I was about to say exactly the same thing. It is a possibility. We've seen Alex running it in the past. I don't know what Spontex prefers to play, but I think Zach is a little bit more up his alley. I think he prefers to go a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more in your face. So I'll probably like to see it going that route. And for the time being, if this does get locked in, that's a top lane cannon.
It would be a top lane cannon for Extinct, which would make sense. He's a good mechanical player, and of course that would be putting Syndra back in the mid lane for Bjergsen. But I'm not sure that's going to get locked in. The discussions that are going on, I'm pretty sure that's going to get changed out.
Yeah, at the moment, it's a difficult situation because if he goes up against Zach, Zach's just going to be able to hop away relatively easily and get to safety. If it goes up against Jace, he's just going to get shut down so hard by that immense range and the shock blast combos. So it does get swapped out, like you said, and it's going to be Ryze. It's
going to be Ryze once again in that top lane, I feel. Probably going to switch it to Extinct, which would mean it is going to be... It's currently Spontex, actually, on that Zach, so we'll see whether it sticks there as the game loads up.
I think that will stick that way. I just, the way the play style's suited. I think that Zach fits Spontex's play style, but Diamondprox is going to have such a hard time getting anywhere in this game because Halo Varus is going to slow you. Flay's going to knock you back. You're going to get stunned by Cannon. And if you do get close enough to get a bear stun stance, Ryze is just going to put a room prison and say, nope.
Nope.
Don't
or just get flayed.
Just go away. That's it. So it's going to be difficult, but if anybody can make Udyr work, it's going to be Diamondprox.
The thing is, last time he did actually pull out Udyr, it was a similar type of setup, and it didn't work very well.
No, it didn't.
That was against Giants, I believe.
Yes, we also seen it like the cataclysmic one against Evil Geniuses in game 1 of the spring split. So it's a brave pick. If it works, it's fantastic. And he can, in theory, run around some of the skill shots. But, if we look at it the other way, Ash Arrow or Zach Bounce into a bear stun stance, those are the people that'll soak up the abilities and allow him a safer route in.
Well, we do see Spontex was on your screen there, the new temporary member for Gambit. Meanwhile, Ninjas in Pyjamas, their all-new lineup, effectively with Maluno to the side. There's Freeze to the left of Bjergsen as well, along with his new support, Deficio. Well, he's been there a while. Although, ironically, Deficio only ever came in as a sub as well, because he was the manager. There's been so many changes to this team, but they are still here. They are still in the LCS, and after picking up a very strong win yesterday, can they do it again, just like SK Gaming have against Fnatic, this time against Gambit?
It's the story of substitutes. It's which team can handle the change better. And there is a much bigger change in the hands of the Ninjas in Pyjamas than there is for Gambit, but we'll see whether or not Gather or Split will be powerful enough. A little bit of FaceTime for Alex, so we'll see how this works out for him.
A very popular player around the world. Even at the All-Stars, he was getting big cheers from the Chinese fans. Very, very popular. And as you can see, the players are in the game. We are about to get in the game, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. If you've just joined us, it is going to be Gambit as the blue side. And the red side, of course, will be Ninjas in Pyjamas. Interesting item start for Diamond.
So this is 3.8 for everybody that has not been told 1,000 times. So there have been the changes to the Dorans and things along those lines. Take a look at Diamondprox's Udyr. He started with the Doran's Blade. Now, this is not entirely unheard of on certain junglers. The sustain that it has, plus the sustain he gets from his turtle stance, it should keep him relatively healthy and, of course, getting all that additional damage at the early levels.
He's also put that Phoenix stance already, ready and waiting. Darkus, trying to put the wards out. We're having a look towards it. Actually, is it Tiger? It's Tiger.
It's Tiger stance, which is even more interesting. So he's going to have a lot more single target damage, which will play into his favor. Get a lot more auto attacks out when he procs the active. But it's not your traditional Phoenix farm lane. Genja toying with this moment. Deficio does have a ward.
He's in the right spot. I don't think he can reach it there, can he?
At this point in time, no. But if Deficio goes a tiny bit, that's max. I mean, at max range, I still think that'll catch him. It just depends if Deficio's going to go for the ward or not.
Well, we'll see.
Oh, this is scary.
He's just on the peak of the bush. Oh, that would have caught him. That would have caught him. And now Genja's just like, what's that? Did I just? Yeah, I did. I just saw that piercing arrow. Look at that damage it just did to him already. And that's going to force them back. Ninjas in Pyjamas, though, they're going to back away. They didn't land the hook. And they will back off. No first blood for them this time.
So Freeze is running 4% spell lifesteal, as well as then 5 and then 8% on his armor penetration. Over on Genja, on the other hand, 17 flat armor pen, plus 8% on top of that. He has no inherent lifesteal because of the fact he's got the sustain there from Sona. So we'll see how that works out for them in lane.
Red buff start for Diamondprox. Meanwhile, it is going to be a blue buff start for Maluno. And he's going to have the help of Deficio. Going to do this one smiteless, as is Diamond. Doesn't mean, of course, the Golem's not going to be taken by Gambit this time around. We have seen it. I think Evil Genius has started on them yesterday, so it is entirely doable. But Spontex in that top lane, how is he going to work against Extinct? I'm not too sure how this Zac versus Kennen lineup will work. It's
one of the situations where if one of the players is able to get good harass down, they have the potential to kill each other. But because of the fact that the slow and the knock-up is not quite as hard as it needs to be, Kennen can just lightning rush to safety. Zac, on the other hand, with his passive, they've got that safety net. So I actually think it'll just end up being a bit of a farm lane until either jungler decides to come and gank.
Well, we'll see how that Doran's Blade start as well works out for Diamond Proxy. He's on the blue buff already, so he's already taken it. In fact, a very, very quick jungler is Udyr, and it seems to be working well for him.
Yeah, and it's basically just because of he's gone for that Tiger stance early, so he's got that massive, auto attack speed increase. I want to keep tabs on what he's leveling up as the game goes forward, but right now Genja is incredibly low. Freeze's piercing arrows hurt.
Yeah, that piercing arrow, if he lands it again when the cooldown comes up, it's going to knock him down to very low health there. We see the Demacia standards spotting out Diamond Prox, which is why we also see Bjergsen backing away in that mid lane. Something we actually should point out, actually, because we didn't really stick to it, was the fact that Kennen is on the top lane as Extinct. Oh, wow, Maluno's going straight back in Diamonds, not messing around here, going straight aggressive on Maluno and has to slide away from that one. And Bjergsen is actually on Rise up against Jace in the mid lane.
Yeah, Maluno got stomped in that 1v1. He lost so much HP. It was actually incredibly one-sided. Now, Bjergsen going up against Alexic, Rise versus Jace. Once Rise gets some armor, Frozen Heart, and starts working towards those sort of beefy armor mana items, it'll work in his favor. Extinct realizes that something's up. He's going to get stunned, and here comes Maluno.
He's going to slide through, though. Is it going to be a 2v1? This may be first blood going down. Diamond Prox so low, tries to flash away, and flash was used, and it was Extinct that picked up the kill and the double buff.
The double buff is massive. Deficio is just toying with Genja right now. He moves forward. If he has his death sentence available, it's on cooldown right now. 1 second on the clock. He may try go aggressive in this bottom lane, but good start for Ninjas in Pyjamas.
A very good start, and that's going to cause so many problems for Spontex in the top lane. Oh, meanwhile, Darker taken very low in that bottom lane as well. Ninjas in Pyjamas are starting off very well in the lane phase.
And it's similar to what happened yesterday. It was an invade that cost them the initial kills, but in the laning phase, they were very strong. Maluno has double buffs up. Blue buff is about to wear off, but he still has red. A Rune Prison into knockup is going to put a lot of hurt down onto Alexic.
See whether they can cause the pressure, maybe cause a flash. You can see he's going to get locked up. Not going to quite get the knockup, though. He's going to try and walk away from this one. He should be able to do that. Switch his stance, and immediately is safe.
So very well played, uses the hammer form, kicks Jarvan back out of the way, but here comes Diamond.
Diamond back down the bottom there, gets the bear stance stun on towards Deficio. He's going to throw out the shields, though. He should be safe, uses the flame to knock them back. Gambit really not laying the damage down on the right targets. And this time, Gambit's ganks are not working out for them.
So that was a good play by Diamond. Even though they weren't able to pick up a kill, they did get the summoner spells down. Flash, Exhaust, as well as the cleanse from Freeze. He still held onto his flash. Freeze held onto his flash, which is quite important. But that was after Diamond Prox got caught out. He was read like a book in the top lane, and that's why Extinct managed to pick up this double buff. So if Spontex's life wasn't difficult enough already, now he's going to deal with this blue and red buff little ninja.
Well, Tear of the Goddess is being picked up by both mid laners, Alexic and Bjergsen on Jace and Rise, and Maluno now turning in towards his top lane. Extinct already going aggressive, does manage to get the stun down on towards Spontex. Get a little lightning surge in there. We do see Spontex jumping away from this one. Is Maluno going to land the lockup? Yes, he is. Very nicely done. Have they got the damage to try and finish him off? The passive will get popped, but it's going to be on his turret.
So he manages to flash to safety to at least survive, but if Maluno comes back around for an engage, he didn't burn flash. Extinct didn't burn flash, and Extinct still has his Ignite available. So that's going to be there for the next time they have that engagement. Mid lane, just a little bit of a farm fest right now as Alex is forced to run away from that previous gank.
Yeah, the poke back and forward, but that top lane, there's a big difference starting to develop in terms of CS. As you'd expect, the fact that he did get that double buff early on. Still yet to go back as Extinct as well. It's just starting that Rejuve build, so he's going to have a lot of gold. There's Piercing Arrows still doing a lot of damage to it. Genja. Genja's trying his best to keep everything at bay. Hasn't gone back and got that Tear of the Goddess just yet. But will certainly go and get it soon. You've got to think, really, the fact that he goes for that, yeah, it builds up. Yes, it gets to the Muramana eventually, but it really must put him behind in lane for a long time.
No, it does. Because it takes so long to charge up and so long to hit that power crescent point, you are behind for that. You've invested money into nothing, really, into the ability to keep slowing people down. Doesn't give you kill potential. It does, however, give you kite potential. So against a Ryze, against a Cannon, you can slow them down and maybe keep them at arm's reach, which does play in your favor. Alex and Bjergsen going toe-to-toe.
Alex Itch getting caught down again. Maluna goes in. Ignite was used by Alex Itch there onto Maluna. Wasn't expecting that. Maybe thought he could turn it around quicker.
If Maluna had stayed for one more turret hit, that may have actually been like kill potential range, because he took a tower, shock blast, ignite, and lost 50% of his HP. That's a level 4 Maluna that was going up against a level 6 Alex Itch.
The blue buff does get taken by Bjergsen. Meanwhile, the blue buff was actually picked up, I believe, by Diamond Prox, so we'll keep our eye on that one. Actually, no, it won't be. Well, I don't think it'll be up yet, actually. I'm not sure.
Very shortly, because he did start red. So,
yeah.
So he's just picked up his red buff, as you can see now. Blue buff will be spawning for Gambit probably in the next 30 seconds. Actually, just came up right now. So he'll be moving around, donating that one to Alex shortly.
As you would expect. The bottom lane also taking a lot of pressure. Genji's just gone back, and sure enough, there it is. There's the Tear of the Goddess, along with the second Zoran's Blade. Also, for everybody that is interested, if you take a look at the skill order down in the bottom left, Diamond Prox is maxing his Tiger stance. He's not going for, dare I say, the traditional Phoenix stance jungler, as Maluna and Bjergsen are moving in. They see the blue buff is up, and if Diamond Prox comes in here, he may face check. This is 3 members of NIP, and we've had a pause at a very tense moment in the game. Yeah, and Alex Itch actually had just gone back to base, so he's not even going to be there. Smite's not available for Diamond Prox. That blue buff is going to go to Ninjas in Pyjamas. It's actually Extinct's mouse that's the problem at the moment. You can see him on your screen there as he's just like, yeah, it's broken. And I like the fact that Dave, the admin, came in and picked it up and looked at it and went, well, yeah.
It looks broken to me. It's broken to me. You can actually see the cursor is not moving on his screen, so we should hopefully get this resolved, soon. But a very, very strong, aggressive start from Ninjas in Pyjamas. I don't think we've seen them have this level of invades, as far as the jungles are concerned, in a very long time. It wasn't really their forte.
No, and Gambit are on the back foot so heavily here, and already the gold split has already gone 1,000 in advantage to Ninja in Pyjamas. The fact that blue buff will get taken away from them. The bottom lane, the pressure is on there. It's a 20 CS advantage in the bottom lane for Ninjas in Pyjamas. Freeze doing a fantastic job, which has already led them to a 500 gold difference between there.
Yeah, and the thing about that 500 gold as well, not only is it, an advantage there for Freeze's Varus, but the money that has been spent by Genji is in that Tear of the Goddess. So, yeah, he's just going to keep volleying. That's going to help him pick up some CS and maybe defend the tower a bit more. But like we said, it's not actually going to help out. So you can see we have resumed the game. We will be jumping into it right now. And Diamond Prox basically giving up that blue buff.
Well, yeah, and there is the blue buff being taken away. Ninja Pyjamas all over that one. It was Bjergsen that got it again.
Yep.
So they've given him 2 blue buffs.
Refresh
within a minute.
So, yeah, he's just going to extend the time. Denying it from his opponent, I think, is the more important thing. Extinct returns to the top lane. He's still got roughly 20 CS lead over his lane opponent, Spontex, but that is a very big number of creeps. So Spontex will do the best that he can to defend his turret. And it looks like Diamond Prox is moving towards that bottom lane. He's got a couple wards and a little bit of vision.
Oh, he's going to fight, go straight in towards Deficio, immediately backs away from that one. He would be able to flay Diamond away from him, so doesn't get involved in that one. It may actually be an early Baron attempt here. We have seen it before from Gambit, and it looks like with that ping ward going down, I think that's what they're going to go for.
Yeah, so a 9-minute dragon. I think they did an 8-minute dragon yesterday. This is very, very traditional from them. They do like to apply a lot of pressure early on. You can see Maluna is miles away, and even though he does have his ultimate, they're simply not going to be able to react in time. So if Bjergsen gets some damage down in the mid turret, it'll be okay, but he's not going to be able to push the wave quickly enough. And a free dragon from Gambit.
A free dragon. Alex came down to help out everybody else from Ninjas in Pyjamas. Like, fine, we'll let it happen. It does close that gold gap as well, because it was 1,000 advantage for Ninjas in Pyjamas. They do have the farm advantage in lanes, but if they keep losing those dragons, it's not really going to matter a great deal. Ping's going down, and I think Maluna wants to try and get in towards that tri-bush this time around. There is a ward there, though.
Yeah, so he's going to be able to at least be hidden a little bit in the river. Spontex is caught!
Spontex is going to be a slicing maelstrom. He will go down to this one. The ignite should be enough, and there it is. The passive was already popped, if you remember, in that top lane. And finally, it is going to be a kill in the top.
Maluno's not finished. He's moved. He's managed to sneak into this bottom lane. He stood right on top of a ward, though. So if they have a flash engage, they can catch them out. But I think they'll be aware that they've been spotted. Extinct showed great control. He got the ignite down, he landed a couple auto attacks and went, yep, Ignite will tick over and finish him. I don't need to tank more turret damage. I don't need to put myself at more risk. And he backs away wisely.
A little bit of a lane switch there. Alex went up to the top lane, but he's walking all the way back to the mid lane as well. Already too late to the party. Checks out and goes, yep, definitely blue buff is not here. And as it stands, Ninja Pyjamas are really putting it at Gambit right now. They are falling behind every single lane right now. It's a little harsh to say the mid lane is being lost because Alex is still very much, in terms of CS, equal with Bjergsen. Yeah.
He's a buff behind, but you are correct. They are keeping tabs with one another. Once Bjergsen starts building up a little bit more mana, it's going to be much more difficult for Alex to shove him out of lane because the Catalyst to Protector will just keep him sustained, regenerating his life, etc. Right now, Extinct once again wants to play with Spontex.
Well, he can because he's got the items to do so, and Spontex can't really do a great deal about it. All he's got is that Negatron Cloak, which is, it's going to be enough to defend, but I think Extinct should just put it back on towards him, and you can see Spontex, he's only just returned to lane, and he's down to half health already. Yeah,
Spontex is trying to rush that Spirit Visage, which makes a lot of sense against a double AP comp. Right now, though, Bjergsen is about to be jumped on, but it's a little bit of a bait, and I think Gambit sniffed that one out. They went, this is too obvious.
Well, this time they are going to bait them in towards it. That slide goes through nicely. Cataclysm on top of them. Bjergsen trapped inside there. Diamond Proc's taken very low, but Bjergsen will drop to Alex Hitch here, and it's going to be Alex that picks up the kill. Can Diamond try and get away from this one? Pops the turtle stance. They're going to try and turn it back around. They're going back in. Alex Hitch drops the hammer on towards Maluno, knocks him away. As soon as they realized Extinct was coming down, they backed away, happy to take their first kill.
Brilliant play from Gambit there. They just focused Bjergsen down. They focused the right target. What you've seen Maluno and Bjergsen trying to do is take out Diamond Prox in that engagement with his turtle stance, with his ninja tab-by. He was going to survive a lot of that auto-attack damage coming out of Jarvan. So very good play from Gambit. They put their first kill on the board, and it did go to Jace as well, which is the person you want to have with the kill.
Spontex is in all sorts of trouble in this top lane. 30 plus CS behind right now. 2-0 up kills for Extinct because he got Diamond Prox down early on. He's just going to lose out this lane. He's being left on an island right now. I don't think there's going to be a great deal of help for him. And of course, as Zach, he just needs to get some farm going, but I don't think he's going to be allowed.
No, at this point in time, there's nothing you can do. Because of the range that Kennen has, he can't get in range to CS, and even if he does under the tower now, he's at risk of being popped with his passive. So it is up and available, and he may just get, dropped down low if he sticks around close enough. Look at how much damage he's taking from Extinct's Kennen.
He realizes he can't do a great deal about this one. I think that turret may go down in the next wave as well, but I think Extinct, he'd be happy just to actually keep that lane going.
Yeah, at this point in time, Extinct's going to drag it out, I guess, as long as he can. Just keep Spontex starved of resources. And I think what we're seeing from Gambit is a little bit of leave him on an island. If he's losing, that's fine. What we'll do in team fights, we'll let him jump in, bounce around, and if he dies, we'll try clean up around him. And I think that's their plan.
Well, Alex Hitch once again venturing toward that top lane. Seeing if he can get in there, but Extinct was ready, backs away. Was stood on top of a pink ward, so tried to catch him out as he went back. This bottom lane has been fairly quiet despite the 30 CS advantage that Freeze has managed to build himself up. BF swords on both AD carries as well. Now Vampiric Scepter almost completed by Freeze, but as we know, Genja's in a very different route.
Yeah, well, he normally finishes his Bloodthirster, then Last Whisper, then Man Immune, is what we've seen from him in the past. So we'll see if he continues that trend. Ficio is setting himself up along with Maluno. They've got a pink ward in this bush, so they know there's no vision at the moment. And it's going to be on to Ficio to land a good death sentence and sentence one of the Gambit members to death, but that one misses and absolutely nothing comes of it.
Yep, completely missed out. This time the blue buff, I think Alex Hitch just picked up, but again the top lane, slicing Maelstrom onto Spontex, uses Let's Bounce, but Extinct doesn't really care. The Ignite going down, that passive is not going to be enough. He's putting good damage back on towards Extinct here. Diamond Prox coming in, suddenly they realize the bait was there. Extinct has to rush away.
Very well played by Spontex, using his passive Cell Division in the fight, walking over those little blobs with each of his ability casts and getting some of that HP back. And thanks to the fact that he's got a big chunk of magic resist early on, he was able to survive the damage that was put down by Extinct. So even with that very big difference in CS, it's looking good for them. And at the bottom there's a fight, it missed!
Chain of Corruption misses out, the box gets put down by Deficio, but straight away reacted, and Genja throws out the arrow on towards Freeze. It's going to be Darker that's the target, he goes down. Deficio keeps flashing out here, Bjergsen teleports in, but he's not going to get close enough, and Genja does back away. It's a kill picked up, Alex Hitch comes down, puts that shock blast across, and just keeps them at bay.
So teleport has been used, which is very, very important. Dragon's going to be up in 20 seconds, and they're going to know that Ninjas in Pyjamas are a little bit low. So if they recall to heal up, Gambit will move towards that dragon and try to pick up the second dragon of the game.
Deficio stood on top of a pink ward right now. Genja, it just showed actually in that fight the power was kind of lacking, but this mid turret taken very, very low here, and Diamond's taking some damage. He gets knocked up. He's going to be the focus target. This time he does get taken down. And Bjergsen chasing on towards Alex Ich. Is he going to get close enough for the Rune Prison? No. Backed away, and the shot blast just says not today, thanks.
So with Diamond Procs dead, now all of a sudden Ninjas and Pyjamas have the ability to take the Dragon. If they get this tower down and group up as a 4-man, they might be able to secure that one safely. First tower of the game will be for the Ninjas and Pyjamas taking out this bottom lane turret.
And that will stretch their gold lead as well. It will eventually go down, I believe. The minions will take it. Oh, Deficio, yeah, you're not going to get away there. He's going to have to walk away from this one. Realizes he is on his own, but no enchanted crystalline arrow to interrupt him, pop him, keep him in his lane. It does mean, though, it's 4-1 in kills right now, and that's stretching to just a 2,000 gold lead for Ninjas in Pyjamas here in the opening phases of this game. 16 minutes, I say opening phases. It's been a much longer game. Spontex, wow, Slicing Maelstrom's going to come straight out. He's going to get stunned up. Or will he? As Let's Bounce makes him get away.
So thanks for the tenacity in Let's Bounce. He was able to get out of those stuns and get to safety, but he had to burn his ultimate just to stay alive. He was using his elastic slingshot to farm his E. And as soon as he landed on the minions, Extinct just went, oh, hello, I'll have one of them, thank you. Jumped in there, but unfortunately wasn't able to burst him down just yet.
It will be the turret going down, though, so that's going to be the second of the game. Ninjas in Pyjamas starting to create advantages all across the map. The mid turret, of course, barely touched, but Gambit, they're straight in the Dragon.
So this is going to be the second Dragon of the game. We've seen how early Diamond picked up the first one. It was around about that 9 minutes on the board. It does look like NIP, they're not going to give this one up for free. So they've got positioning. They do have some vision as well. There is a NIP ward right in front of that Dragon Pit. And I think wisely Gambit back away. They need the initiating power of Zac there if they really want to win a convincing team fight.
Yeah, and I think they realize they haven't quite got the power advantage. Oh, Deficio got spotted by that ward in the banana, which means Alex Ich is going to step back away from that turret. Extinct was also trying to sneak around the backside as well. Instead, he's going to return to that top lane and start putting some wards down if he wants to keep the pressure on Spontex, though.
In terms of how this game is going to go the later we go as well, both teams scale very well. Eventually, Genji is going to be able to crest this Tear of the Goddess Manamine Muramana build that he does like, and will start putting out pretty good damage along the lines of Varus as well. But the utility that Varus offers a team fight against a melee Udyr is going to be very difficult to overcome. So the pressure is on Spontex to leap into the back line and disrupt them.
Well, the pressure in terms of farm as well is starting to actually build here. You can see it's a 40 CS lead in the top lane, a 40+ CS lead in the bottom lane. The mid lane really with Alex Ich, of course he is the gold farmer extraordinaire, is still keeping ahead of Bjergsen right now. But that is really the only win they're having. In terms of jungle as well, still very close between them. You can see the supports, obvious gold advantage for Deficio there because they have taken those two turrets down as well as getting that kill.
Well, basically 1,600 gold in the top lane is your difference, and only, and about 1,300 in the bottom lane. So a pickaxe and a longsword in the bottom lane, as well as a needlessly large rod in top. That's the difference in statistics power between them. Buff picked up by Bjergsen, he's just going to move himself back into that mid lane, and I think because of the fact that he died early on, that's why he's the 20 CS behind. You know, they picked that fight. It was a fight NIP wanted. They baited it in, and then just went, oh, this was a bad decision. They end up, losing one of their players for it.
A bit of power play coming out from Ninjas in Pyjamas here. They're stacking up in this mid lane, seeing if they can bully Alex Ich out of it. They are all going to go back and buy. I think Dragon is definitely going to be their focus target once they've all bought. Yeah,
at this point in time, with all the vision that's down there, that's definitely what it's telling me, especially from a Gambit point of view. They have 4 wards in and around the river area at Tribush and the entrance to the Dragon Pit, etc. So you might just give this blue buff over to Alex, allow them to siege up a little bit. For those keeping tabs, Diamond Procs, 5 points into his Tiger stance, 3 into Bear. He has not put a single point into Phoenix yet. So a little different from what we were seeing the last time we seen his Udyr play.
Yeah, absolutely. Which was yesterday, I believe we saw an Udyr as well. Of course, as it is, you do see this mid lane, the pressure starting to put on towards the turret. Freeze is going to get himself a couple of free shots on there, as well as Extinct. With the cannon and the Varus, you can take turrets down very, very quickly. They're starting to move down towards the Dragon, though. We do see Bjergsen in that top lane, has got teleport available, so he's going to keep the split push going. Looks like he may well just wander down the river, though.
Yeah, and don't forget, the moment you put Jarvan in and around any of your teammates, he puts his Demacian standard down, and they get 22% additional attack speed. So you got 2 very good auto-attacking champions with an attack speed steroid for free. Costs you a little bit of mana, gives you some vision as well. Like you said, Dragon has been poised for NIP. Realize they've got a bit of a numbers advantage. Genji does have the crystal arrow available, so if Jason and Udia can get by, they might throw it out, but simply put, they're too far away. Free Dragon for NIP.
Free Dragon indeed, that's going to respond. So that's a Dragon apiece now between the two teams. That does, of course, mean that gold continues to stretch for Ninjas in Pyjamas. It is now 3,000 gold. While this is all happening, oh, Bjergsen's chasing on towards Spontex. Has he got enough damage to pop him down? Did use his ultimate, but really not a great deal going down there. Of course, has got that Spirit Visage. And actually, with the Sorcerer's Boots, goes away.
Yeah, so he manages to get himself to safety. I think a lot of the ability power damage has to come from Zac in this Gambit lineup, so he might build himself a little bit of ability power, or maybe something like an Abyssal Scepter. Deficia has been caught.
He has been caught out. Alex is trying to drop the hammer. That's going to be the arrow landing. Flash crescendo as well comes out from Dix Darker, but he's on the turret. The turret's absolutely nailing him. Extinct does go down. Maluno, now he's getting hammered by Alex H. One more shot should do it. He needs to switch form, does it, gets it, and gets the double kill.
And the teleport was interrupted. Bjergsen tried to jump into the mid lane, but Spontex used his bounce. He used his ultimate to interrupt Bjergsen, prevent it happening. Kills in favor of Gambit. Middle tower, and now probably inner tower as well.
Wow, just like that, Gambit turn on the heat. And straight away, Ninjas in Pyjamas. Oh, Freeze has been caught out here. He got spotted by the ward, the hawk shot, sorry, from Genja, and immediately the volley came across him. But just like that, look at Alex Itch, 3-0-1 now, and the gold advantage completed. Spontex in trouble in the top lane. Bjergsen is going to come in, but immediately leaps straight out from him. Double flash gets away, and Spontex says, yeah, can't catch me.
And not only that, he's caught up in CS. So Spontex prevented the teleport. He's baited the flash out of Bjergsen. He's kept him in lane, and he's catching up on Extinct, catching up on the person that was stomping him in lane. Once we get to these team fights and Let's Bounce is happening with the crescendo as well, it's a good position for them to be in.
And with that Muramana complete, the Last Whisper and the Brutalizer, we are starting to see the power players coming out. Alex Itch on Jace, as we saw with Froggen yesterday against Gambit, will become incredibly strong in those fights, which is why they suddenly turn the power on. They suddenly want those fights.
One of the things that's going to be so difficult to deal with as well is just how hard it is to kill the Gambit members. Hex Drinker, that additional shield, is going to be difficult to burn through for the double AP composition of NIP. Zac's passive brings him back to life. The Turtle Stance from Udia is going to be blocking a couple hundred hit points on every single, cast. 4.8 second cooldown. At the moment, 140 hit point shield, which is a lot if you consider he's going to get 2 or 3 of them off in a fight.
Absolutely. Bjergsen's trying to keep Spontex at bay in that top lane. As you mentioned, he's just slowly but surely gaining that CS back. Extinct sat, I think he's clearing out the pink. What's he doing? He's waiting for someone to maybe come down river and try and jump on them, but he is stood on top of a ward, so not being so sneaky. I don't know what he's lingering for, actually.
I don't think he knows what the call is.
He's a yordle, who knows?
Yeah, I don't think that NIP are 100% sure where they want to go or what they want to do. Bjergsen was defending the top lane. He's decided to back away very, very far to recall. A little bit afraid of where the rest of the members of Gambit are. And if you look at NIP's vision, they have no idea where their opponents are and if they're not directly in a lane. So, tower picked up for Gambit. That's tower number 3 for them. And it does look like NIP are going to put a little bit of pressure in this mid lane.
And it's interesting because Ninjas in Pyjamas, they were 2-0 up in turrets. They had the map control, and just the click of a switch, Gambit have completely put Ninjas in Pyjamas on the back foot. And this is the first time, that team, this is a brand new team that's come together. They are up against a very, very strong lineup in Gambit, despite the fact Spontex has come in as the temporary man, and of course Darker, who stepped in and filled Edward's shoes. They are still a very strong team.
Yeah, you can see the call is definitely gather now for Gambit. They've grouped up in the mid lane. It's the first time that we have seen Spontex with the rest of the members of Gambit. I think the Dragon should not be too far away, in fact. So the last time it was taken was 20 minutes 23. So there's 2 minutes on the clock before it'll respawn. And basically, I think they're going to start setting up wards. Get those 3-minute vision wards down, look around the map, and start poising for that next objective.
Well, it's 5-4 in terms of kills and the gold. You can see it. 34.4 to 34.4. Bang on even between the two teams. And across the board, you can see the fact that Alex has stepped up and taken a big lead. We did say it was the only lane that was really winning out, but it's Alex Itch. It's the only lane that really is needed to win out.
Yeah, especially, and it's on a champion that can, turn the tide of fights. The poke that Jace offers, the execution ability that Jace offers, it fits in so many situations. What's also happened in the last minute or two is the Muramana has been completed for Genja as well. So he's now got a very big damage spike. NIP, they've grouped up and they picked up their 3rd tower of the game.
They are, but where is Spontex going? He's coming around the backside of him. Is he going to try and engage it? No. Looks like the call is stick away at the moment because Genja's farming.
Yeah, Genji needs to farm. Genji needs to get that CS. He's still 60 creeps behind, but they've caught out Diamond
They're
Prox.
jumping on towards him, and that's going to be enough to help take him down. The hooks, everything, room prisons, they was all thrown towards him. That was a simple kill, a very quick kill on Udyr.
Not one ultimate was used for that one. They just landed all of their inherent CC. The unleashed power from Rise, the cooldown gets dropped very quickly, but mostly because of the chain of corruption still up. Death sentence, box is still up. Anyways, NIP in a mid turret, they're on it.
Oh, that minion, he was in trouble there. He got hooked out by the Visio. But they are going to take a lot of damage on towards that turret. They didn't quite get it down. And the rest of the ninjas in Pyjamas, while they were trying to route around the side, do not manage to get that turret. They may well go in for a second bite of the cherry, though.
Spontex is definitely trying to poise himself for an unseen engagement. He's trying to use the range on that elastic slingshot to his advantage. He's currently got 2 points into it, which is a massive engagement range. 16 seconds on the clock for Dragon, and you can see NIP backing off. They've got vision in place, and they're basically going to try pull Gambit towards them.
This is going to be a straight-up fight, and as it is, Extinct is not there right now. Gambit are quite up for the challenge. And it's looking like with that hawk shot going out, they're going to get themselves full vision. Dragon spawns. Diamond Prox leading the charge.
Yeah, look for the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. That is a massive hit onto Freeze. He does have a Bloodthirster though, so he can sustain some of it back. And again, Spontex is off to the side. So he's looking to engage from, you know, an unseen angle. And that's the trick that they're trying to play right now. With the damage that Alex put down, Gambit pick up a free Dragon.
They've got to back away. The top turret's taking pressure as well from minions. And that is the second Dragon of the game for Gambit. Third overall. It's 6-4. And that does mean that Gambit take that gold lead, but only briefly until Extinct wipes out the top wave.
Yeah, that's a very, very big creep wave. We can see that that Black Cleaver is sitting in the hands of Alex as well. So not only is he, dealing all that massive damage, he's shredding the armor, which just allows Udyr and Ashe, who deal a lot of physical damage, to deal even more damage on top of it. So it's a very, very good combo. We still haven't actually seen a full-blown, 3v3, 5v5 team fight or similar. But it's definitely a good position for Gambit.
And look at that. Spontex is now ahead of Extinct in farm. Despite all the pressure he put down on him, maybe he should have kept that lane alive a little bit longer, because Spontex is doing that split push thing that Darian does so well for Diamond, for
Gambit.
Gambit, that's the one I'm after.
In terms of the positioning as well, Extinct, I think, unsure where to go. So right now, NIP, they've grouped up. Crystal Arrow goes out, and that whiffs. That's a field goal entirely. They're trying to push down this middle tower, but Spontex, he's recalling in the bottom lane.
They're trying to bully it out. They realize that Spontex wasn't there, so they're like, we got a 5v4 advantage. Let's get on, get a couple of shots on. They should be able to take down the inner turret. And that is now going to be a 4-3 turret advantage for Ninjas in Pyjamas. Puts them just in the goal lead by 100.
That was well played by NIP. I think they realized that they had this very small window of opportunity, and the fact that Spontex wasn't there, so they made use of it. They used the shield from the Dark Passage, the Lantern of Thresh, blocked some of the damage, and basically just face tanked it. Extinct is going to try to get some CS back, but he needs to look for more CS sources, because Spontex is just doing it better than him right now.
Absolutely, and as is Alex Ich in that middle lane, although not so much the middle lane anymore. Freeze is going to keep on. He's ahead of Genja still in terms of farm, but he hasn't been able to really get any chances in the fights. You can see he's got a lot of damage. You see the 600 crits coming in already. They just need to find that right engage, and Maluno's gone for it. Wow! Slides in, pops that Cataclysm down. It was only on Diamond Prox as well, and the rest of the team just simply could not close the gap quick enough.
So they managed to get the flash burn from Diamond Prox in exchange for a Cataclysm. So cooldown for cooldown, that's definitely in their favor. But right now, it's not over. Bjergsen is still in the top lane, split pushing. Teleport is available, and look at Spontex's position. He will be slingshotting himself into the fight. Decides not to this time.
Well, Extinct is off the side, and Ninjas in Pyjamas a little bit split up here. They have only 3 members to defend off this inhibitor. Spontex is charging up, ready to jump in, but doesn't pull the trigger.
Doesn't pull the trigger just yet, and if you do cancel it, you get half the health and half the cooldown back. So it's not the end of the world if you charge it up and don't fire. But again, he's looking for that opportunity. He's looking for the call, the moment that he can jump in there, bounce around, and wreak havoc in the NIP lines.
Gambit going to back off. You can see Genja's going to farm off. The ward placement being put on towards the Baron. I don't think any team are really thinking about that just yet, though. It is Ninjas in Pyjamas going to try and shove straight down the mid once again. Or do they? They quickly turn towards that Baron. I don't think they're going to go for it. They want to try and catch someone around Banana, but it's not going to happen.
They're just trying to get some vision superiority. I don't think they've got the fastest Baron team in the world right now. They can take it very quickly, or relatively quickly, but I think Gambit's got a better Baron team just because of the damage sources that they do have. And at the end of the day, they just move up, ward, counter ward, and realize that Gambit are not moving towards them. So they just go back and pick up some CS.
And continue the merry dance as the Ash arrow gets thrown out and checks the vision. Not a great deal happening around that mid lane though. Again, Ninja Pyjamas, they're trying to bait it. This time they have cleared out the wards and Gambit are ready and waiting, they're coming in.
So they've started off Baron, it's going relatively low. As soon as Gambit show their faces, they peel away. And the damage that Maluno has already taken, he's down to about 50% HP. Another Shock Blast combo is just scaring them away. They cannot have a prolonged siege because Jace's poke, and then look at that. It's just going to wipe them out.
And that's actually bought themselves an opportunity to push straight for the inhibitor turret. They're going to try and collapse around. There's only 3 members, and Gambit have realized this. They're going to run straight in. They're going to get a lot of damage down with that Jason Ash combo. They will take down the inhibitor turret. Fast reaction. Chain of Corruption goes out. Slicing Maelstrom comes across immediately. Zonya's Hourglass was countered, and that's going to be Darker getting caught out. But look at that. Let's bounce. Spontex jumping around the entire Ninja Pyjamas team. It is going to be a kill for Freeze on Diamond Prox. Gambit do disengage, but Alex Itchy tries to keep on sniping from the sides, but nevertheless, they didn't get the inhibitor turret down. It's so close, though.
Very well played by NIP. It was a bit of a sloppy engagement, to be honest, because they were very split. But they focused the right target. They stuck together as a unit, and even with that very beefy, tanky Udyr in their faces, they managed to stick on him, focus him down as a 4-man. The problem is, if they had that fight in the open, that would have been much more in favor of Gambit, because NIP had to throw so many resources into dealing with Zac and Udyr.
Absolutely bouncing around Spontex, the sub. He's desperate to pick up a win here because this may well be his only chance in the LCS. Of course, losing yesterday, 2 Evil Geniuses coming in as that temporary replacement for Darian. We'll see how long that lasts for, but right now, he is starting to come towards this Baron, and Gambit not really in position to start it off. They're just simply getting the ward coverage, which they do require around there. Of course, it was Ninjas in Pyjamas that tried the peel attack. Didn't work out for them. And Gambit, once again, take control of the map.
Yeah, and with Darker's Oracle's Elixir, he's just going to be able to completely clear out any vision that is there. 25 seconds for Dragon, so now that they've got vision in and around the Baron pit, and they're a pretty mobile team as well. Bear Stance gives you a movement speed, you can use the Slingshot for mobility, Acceleration Gate from Jace is going to speed you up. I think they're going to poise for Dragon, and the Baron dance is going to continue for the next sort of 5 or 10 minutes.
Interesting, Genja didn't want to show himself there down the bottom. He's waited a little while, but the rest of Gambit are all piling down the bottom now. If they go in towards that, I think Ninjas in Pyjamas, they could try and rush the Baron.
They might decide to try that. Now, we could have a very long-range Crystal Arrow. Genja is miles and miles away. It's going to take him a long time to get there. Keep a very close eye on the HP bar of that Baron. Instead, NIP are going to decide to back away. The Death Sentence goes out, doesn't catch on anyone, and they haven't taken too much poke damage. This has also allowed Genji to join the party. This is going to be a 5v5.
And those shock blasts, of course, going to keep going in. Spontex engages. Let's Bounce comes down. He does get locked up, but look at him. He's all over Freeze. Freeze can't do a thing about it. He's going to get taken out, but he's already done the damage. Now we see Jace. Oh, we don't see it. In fact, he's off the screen right now, but he does manage to get the kill. Extinct's going to get taken down. Gambit get the second kill of the game. Spontex, the only man to go down. They're going to turn and run straight for that inhibitor turret because it was already low.
Maluno did the right thing trying to zone out the rest of Gambit. The problem is Extinct went with him. He didn't use his ultimate. He used that Zonya's Hourglass just to stay alive and then instantly got crescendoed by Darker the moment it wore off. So 2 for 1 in favor of Gambit and inhibitor down. Now they're going to be able to heal, shop, and get ready for Baron.
That has to be worrying for Freeze because he had 3 members around him, yet he still almost got taken down by Spontex. Just that Let's Bounce, doing the damage, exploding, throwing his green globules all over him, and it's a definite worry for him. Gambit going to pick up the Dragon as well, so that's going to stretch their gold lead as well as those super minions going in the middle. Hawkshot thrown out from Genja, and that will be another objective for Gambit.
Yeah, and Freeze ate a lot of Shock Blast damage as well before going into that fight, so he was down to like 2/3 HP just because of the poke that Alexich was putting down onto him. So a very, very good engagement, a good call. You know, it was very clear that they told Spontex to dive in there, get in behind, and he did his job excellently.
Look across the board, we've seen 300 CS for, well, 3 members already. And of course, the more of the Mount Morley is something we haven't seen for a very long time. Has been picked up by Alex Itch. We'll see how that works out for him. Meanwhile, Bjergsen has got himself tanky, but he's just not been involved in the team fight so far because he's got that close range, and Spontex just keeps jumping on them.
Yeah, the thing is, even though he's so tanky, the rest of his team isn't. So they get popped so quickly. He's responsible, or he's trying to absorb some of the damage that's going on to his teammates, and it's just a very difficult situation. The fact that NIP don't really have a way to deal with the poke of Jace is basically what's costing them these fights, because they always go in at an HP disadvantage.
Yeah, getting dropped down, and then immediately jumped on by a big green gooey mess, and then crescendo sung to by Darker.
Beautiful singing voice.
Is it singing? Well, it's technically
the crescendo.
Music.
Yeah, I think it's piano keys. I think that would be the technical term. We'd have to ask Chris Link that one. Right now, though, NIP, they've started with Baron again, and look at the poke coming in from the shock blast. Genja is a million years away, though. NIP have peeled away, and this is going to become another stalemate.
Well, Bjergsen engages. Spontex getting ready to launch. He's going in. Let's bounce. And crescendo. Deficio just getting melted down there. Extinct's going to get the slicing maelstrom on. They have pinpointed Alex H very nicely. And at the moment, Ninjas in Pyjamas looking good here. Diamond Prox is tanking up the Baron. Finally, Genja joins the fight. There's going to be the Zhonya's Hourglass popping out. Can he try and take down Extinct? Oh, the volley not quite safe. But that's going to be the hook shot. They try and take him down. Pins off there. But Genja, can he go one more shot? Yes, he does. Turns it around. Picks up the double kill. And just like that, it's a 4-for-4 engage. Very close fight there. Genja was just a little too late to the party.
A little too late indeed. That could have gone so much better in favor of Gambit. He ended up using the Enchanted Crystal Arrow to lock Extinct down. That maybe could have been used to a little bit greater effect. And very importantly, Bjergsen ran out of mana. Bjergsen could have killed him if he had more mana, if he had a blue buff that wasn't stolen away. Super minions are in the middle lane. The extra HP minions for Gambit on the bottom lane have just picked them up. Their 5th tower of the game. And Gambit have a 3,000 gold lead.
Big changes. Every fight is so close right now. Still very tight between these. We did say, can it match the Fnatic SK game? Well, we're at the 38-7-minute mark. Maybe we're going to get there. Who knows? It's going to be a very tight fight exchange between the two. The fact that we are seeing the fights very much even every single time they do engage. This time around, I thought Ninjas in Pyjamas had it quite in them, but the fact that Genja wasn't there kind of showed the difference. But look at Ninjas in Pyjamas clearing out their super minions and straight away having to get back to Baron.
Freeze did pretty well in that fight as well, because he had Spontex diving on him in the Baron pit. After he dealt with Spontex with the aid of Baron, because Baron was hitting him as well, Diamond Prox jumped in there as well, and he was able to deal some damage before going down. I think if Bjergsen had stuck closer to Freeze in that team fight, he may have been able to keep the melee champions off him a little bit longer and let his lifesteal work for him. Right now, though, Gambit have positioning and a lot of damage going down on the Baron.
Baron's taken very low, and that's a stun on towards Maluno, actually. He was... Oh, it's a steal! It's a steal for Ninjas in Pyjamas. Can they engage? That's going to be Chain of Corruption. They lose one member, but they're happy to do that. They're going to back away, and that was a great steal. It was actually Extinct that got it with, I think, a Shuriken.
Yeah, it was definitely a Shuriken that went in. Diamond Prox's smite isn't even used, so definitely not expecting that one to come in. Maluno did follow in that EQ combo that Jarvan has. He managed to, distract them effectively and allow the rest of NIP to back away. But this is now a 4-man defense against a 5-man stack of the mostly Russian powerhouse.
Absolutely. Ooh, Diamond coming around the side there. Extinct, of course, has got that Zhonya's Hourglass. He's trying to keep them at bay. That shock blast coming in as well. Extinct has managed to put down his lightning on towards Diamond Prox. One more shot will stun him up there. Deficio maybe looking at around, but it's going to be Spontex that launches in there. It's going to be Let's Bounce. Freeze uses the cleanse to try and get away from this one, but he's already taken so low. The shield comes out and Spontex gets turned around. The passive popping down there. He's going to go down. The hook on towards Darker. That may be enough. Crescendo comes out, but he's going to go down. Alex Inch, meanwhile, taking the tower down, and now we see it is a 2-for-1. Flash comes in there. Alex Inch is going to get dropped. He gets taken down. Bjergsen comes in, wrecks the place, and that's going to be Spontex was also dropped. Very tight stuff here, and again, while the fact that they did have the Baron buff, remember though, Ninjas in Pyjamas, Gambit was still attacking.
Gambit had no problems picking that fight. It was a sloppy engage though. They were not picking the right targets. They didn't stack their abilities 100% correctly. Even though they got the tower, they lost 3 members for that one, which I suppose is a win at this stage in the game, because towers and map control does actually mean more than the gold. But thanks to the gold that has been picked up and the Baron, NIP are 200 gold away from Gambit. It is a very tight game.
Well, Deficio, once again, realizing he's probably going to be one of the point men, actually went for a Giant's Belt there on a support, so we'll see what that builds into. Genja is going to pick up that red buff on the raids. Pings on the top lane. I think that's actually from Ninjas in Pyjamas. They're going to go up and just clear out that the moment Extinct spawns, and we do see Ninjas in Pyjamas, they're going to clear out those last of the super minions that were coming up the middle. They have their inhibitor respawn.
And that's going to give them a little bit of breathing room. The fact that they've got an inhibitor up means that it's going to be a little bit more difficult for a backdoor to really affect them or hurt them. So they might be challenging a little bit more for dragons, might be challenging a little bit more for map control and jungle control. And with the dragon about to spawn, we may actually see that come to fruition.
Brave play from Divicio as he walks down completely in the dark and tries to place those wards down towards the dragon. Dragon spawns in 10 seconds time. I don't think they're really going to be looking at fighting over it though. It is probably going to get picked up by Gambit here, which will actually give them the gold lead once again, because Ninja Pyjamas, after that Baron steal, had managed to regain that gold lead, but I tell a lie, they want to fight for this one.
Yeah, they've got a good numbers advantage. I don't know if they're 100% away Spontex backdoor, and they don't have vision.
They're running at mid.
They were thinking about it, they wanted to challenge, and at the end of the day have decided maybe they've got positional advantage on this mid turret, so they've stacked up as 5, going to carry on chasing. The recalls are coming in, there's no way to interrupt them. How much time do they have?
They've still got 60 seconds, Baron, of course, on Freeze and Bjergsen, so they should have the advantage in this fight if they can get on there. Diamond Prox, though, has returned straight away with his home guard boots. They will clear it out, and NIP, they're going to back away.
Yeah, NIP actually, they were showing, look, we're not as afraid of you as we were. We're willing to engage. Diamond Prox, with the movement speed buff of the bear stance and that acceleration gate, is able to motor across the map. One thing that we have been seeing from NIP, the lanterns aren't 100% on point.
Well, and can Gambit rush straight up the mid lane? No, they're not. They thought about having positional advantage. Of course, remember, it is an exposed inhibitor. Diamond Prox, I think he's trying to force it. The rest of Gambit are starting to gather. Maybe the command was given. Spontex is going to clear out that mid lane, but still is no blue buff for Alex Ich, which is why he's gone back, and the rest of the team will delay.
It's just a slower passage of play, and right now, in terms of engagement potential, it's all on the poke. As long as Alex gets poke damage down, Gambit will then jump in and follow up with the fight. And because he's got survivability with the Maw of Malmortius and that Guardian Angel, which he's had for a couple minutes, he can afford to throw himself in there with Hammer Form as well and get stuck in and, you know, get down and dirty. On the other hand, NIP, they actually haven't made a big play. You know, they haven't made a very aggressive move on Gambit for a very long time.
Well, maybe with those boots of mobility just being picked up by Deficio, along with that Giant's belt he picked up a while ago, looks like he's going to be the man that trying to launch himself in there, try and land some of those hooks, try and create some plays. Maybe, as you mentioned, that's what they've realized. Like, we need something to be initiating here.
I think the last time we've seen a very aggressive move was when Maluno threw himself onto Diamond Prox with Cataclysm. And I mean, that must have been, what, 10, 15 minutes ago? So I think right now the fact that the inhibitor is back up, NIP can move around the map somewhat more freely, they're able to actually look for these engagement potentials. So we'll see how and where they decide to do it. Spontex not with Gambit right now, so they might back away if NIP gets too close.
Well, it's the second long game of the day. We do have 2 more to go. We are at the 43-minute mark almost here. Remember, the first one went on for over an hour. So some epic matches tonight. Of course, we do have 2 more to come, with Evil Geniuses playing just after this one, up against...
Oh, I'd be like, alternate maybe?
Alternate, of course it is, yes.
I think so, yes. Because it's Creatine, yes.
It's Meet Your Makers versus Lemon Dogs as well after that one. So there is a lot of matches still to come, ladies and gentlemen, tonight. So keep your eyes peeled on this match, because as it is, it's still just a 1,000 goal difference. Very tight in the next fight.
At this moment in time, because both teams have got so much power, they're both actually a little bit afraid of engaging on one another. If you think of the last team fight, Gambit dove behind that top inner turret, and they lost the fight. I mean, they went down 1 for 3, if I recall correctly, and basically poor positioning and poor stacking of their ultimates didn't really work in their favor. So Gambit struggling a little bit with full team fight cohesion, because of course Spontex is a substitute. He's not exactly on the same page. Does look like they're getting ready for Baron though.
Well, they are definitely getting ready for it, but it's not up just yet. And we do see actually in the bottom lane, they're going to have to deal with this one. Bjergsen's going to take that inner turret if they don't come and do something about it. He's all over it right now. You can see him in that split screen. Just in the bottom lane, he's got complete free coverage. Backs away because he realizes
they're coming.
The vision had gone and everybody's coming in. Doesn't want to use that teleport. He's going to, though. He's going up towards the top. That's
actually a very good move. I think he was afraid of a crystal arrow from Ashe. So he realized that Spontex is moving in from the lane that somebody was recalling, and he decided to use the Summoner spell, which is a shorter get out of jail free card than using their recall. And there goes Maluno.
Cataclysm came out. The Chain of Corruption completely missing as well. And Alex Ich, well, the flash was burned. There's going to be the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. That misses as well. It is a game of throws right now. Nobody being able to land any ultimates.
Absolutely nothing hit in that engagement. You actually seen Freeze walking back towards Gambit to pick up the lantern, take a ride on the Dark Passage, and get to safety with Deficio. Ultimates are down. Those are the big engagement tools, and until that Cataclysm is back up and available, I really don't expect to see NIP diving in. But Spontex thinks he wants to toy with Baron, and he's trying to solo it.
The rest of the team are like, no, not just right now, Spontex. Let's just wait a bit. Although Dark is keeping it poked, so they are keeping it active. And they're trying to see if they're getting any bait, because there's not a great deal of wards. There is a ward in Banana. The hook gets thrown out, but misses. Went through 3 members of the team. Not too sure how that's possible. Deficio with the play on Diamond Prox. Not going to get stunned out with that bear stance. And again, the poke back and forward. They're doing a very good job at avoiding Alex's damage.
Cataclysm is getting closer and closer and closer to being available. And Deficio had a great reaction there on that play to not only knock Udyr away, but slow him down, prevent him getting in range. And that's what we talked about in Champion Select. How difficult it's going to be for Diamond Prox to apply his stun to his opponents. After those ultimates all whiffed and missed by a mile, and we're backed off, and we're back to the farming game.
Everybody's wards has run out around the Baron buff area as well, so we also seen Deficio going in there. Only got 1 ward available, so he puts it in towards the Baron pit. Spontex is actually going in there. We do see Bjergsen, he's just gone back. He's got himself a Guardian Angel as well now, so it's effectively a 6v6 in the next fight whenever that happens.
Yeah, we said 6v7 if you count Spontex's passive as well. It's a built-in GA, so if he starts working towards some more defensive statistics, that'll help. They've caught out Diamond, there they go!
The hook goes in, and they're going to go aggressive on this one. The box is out there. Deficio was the one that went in, but immediately Spontex goes bouncing in there. That's going to be Deficio going down. Diamond Prox did go down as well. Extinct gets locked up, pops out Zhonya's Hourglass with his slicing mails from running. He gets destroyed. Genja's taken very, very low, though. If DeFreeze can land his shot, he will go down. Alex's Guardian Angel's been popped. Bjergsen's just going to be able to lock him up. Genja's going to run away with no health. We do see the double kill from Bjergsen now, and that was a 3 for 2 for Ninjas in Pyjamas.
And the Guardian Angel from Bjergsen was not popped in that engagement, so they killed Alex, then they killed him again when he came back to life. A very good fight, and it all started from a death sentence landing onto Diamond Prox. He wanted to move in and steal a Wraith. That fight happened because of one large Wraith, and it cost Gambit at the end of the day. And NIP might try Baron, but this is a very brave move because Ashe is still alive.
Well, of course, it does mean Maluna's coming down. I think as soon as he comes here, they will start it off. Freeze has got good lifestyle. He'll be able to tank it up for a fair while. Maluna will slide in. There's the Hawk shot. So Genja spots it. Enchanted Crystallara is not available yet, but Crescendo is also down as well. They're going to keep volley shotting across. Is it going to be enough? They do manage to get ward coverage across there. There goes the Baron. It was actually 4 members, I think, that picked it up as well.
Second Baron in a row for NIP. They stole the previous one, which by all rights belonged to Gambit, after a very, very good Lightning Shuriken coming out of Extinct's cannon. Right now, like you said, 4 members of them managed to pick it up. Genja's going to have a solitary or take a dragon for consolation in this particular setup.
Consolation prize, that's going to keep the gold very close as well. Just 400 still between them. We're at 70,000 apiece right now. I was saying I didn't expect this game to get there, but maybe, just maybe, we're going to see both these teams reach the 100,000 mark again. Well,
they're definitely looking towards that point right now because both teams are playing relatively safe. You know, we haven't seen massive, massive brawls, but when we do see them, it is a little bit sloppy from both of the teams in terms of their positioning. And at this point in time, the engagement power for NIP is stronger because they have Cataclysm, because they have Chain of Corruption, because they have those longer range initiates. The Enchanted Crystallara from Ashe is good, but it's not as powerful as Varus's.
And we're also seeing a Guardian Angel now for Freeze being picked up, so now it's a 7v5 should the next fight happen, of course. With the Baron on, you'd think Ninjas in Pyjamas should start looking to be aggressive. They are still just consolidating the lanes, though, keeping sure everything is clean. Looks like the mid lane is going to be their focus.
Now, both of these teams, of course, hitting this stage in the game will have a little bit more difficulty because it's 2 brand new lineups. You have 1 substitute for Gambit at a 50-minute mark. Spontex doesn't know how Gambit may move, play, what the calls are. So we'll see how well they handle these team fights. Just for interest's sake as well, 142 souls has been collected by Thresh with his passive.
Of course, when the games do start getting that late, that's probably why he's starting to build up the tankiness. Once Maluno does throw that Demacia standard down, he's going to get some a lot of help on towards that turret. Oh, the hook on Spontex. Not really one they want to engage on, though. But to see that piercing arrow doing a lot of damage on him there, and that is the main tank.
So they've dealt about 200, 300 points of damage to this tower. They're going to carry on sieging it up. If Kenan and Varus both get on it together and focus it down, they should be able to take it down very, very quickly. They've got Spontex!
Spontex once again, he's down to below half health now. He has to back away from this one. That may signal Ninjas in Pyjamas to push back because he knows he's going to go back to the fountain. It's a 4v5. Maluno stood there with his shield. He's saying, guys, hit the damn tower. What are you doing?
He's trying to channel his inner D-man and yell the commands to the rest of the team. Right now, though, Freeze is freezing this situation. He's slowing it down because he's a little too afraid of the engage potential. Spontex has returned with the home guard boots, and the damage onto Freeze from those shock blasts is immense.
It is doing problems. The Spontex now back in there. They've got to be careful. He doesn't engage on them. Diamond does go in, gets room prisoned up though. Deficio is going to throw out the hook. Lands Spontex again, not the one they want. He can turn into Let's Bounce, but he just gets popped instantaneously. Crescendo though hits two members, and straight away they slide in on towards Darker. We said double kill for Freeze. They could take down the inhibitor turret, but it doesn't matter. They have 2 kills, and now they've got themselves a free inhib.
This is 5 versus 3. If they're brave, they might be able to finish. They might be able to carry on chasing, and it looks like they're doing it.
Remember, they've still got the Baron on here. The super minions will be spawning, but it's going to be a standard line right now. Is Genja and Alex Ich doing what they can to keep them at bay? The Nexus turret, they get on towards Alex Ich. Slicing Maelstrom comes out from Extinct. Alex Ich has gone down. Extinct has got Zhonya's Hourglass. There it is. Diamond Prox goes down. Genja on towards the fountain. He's being tanked out by Bjergsen. The Nexus turrets are dropping, and Ninjas in Pyjamas are going to go 2-0 this week as they take down Fnatic and now Gambit. Fantastic stuff.
Ninjas in Pyjamas have done it 2-0. I cannot believe they've managed to pull out